Episode 5 of the UNprofessional Fives. We are back. It's me and Steve on commentary. Team Blue, we've got Andrea Cassar, Yuya, the baby-faced assassin, Ferrari winger, StarBoy, who we mentioned massively at the end of the final episode, definitely one to keep your eyes on today, and the heartthrob Manuel Bustos. Very strong lineup with the blue team here. And again, some very exciting players on their team. Definitely going to be some fireworks in this game. Let's check out who their opposition is against them. We've got Reese's Pieces in goal, trying to get himself back on the MVP leaderboard after being nudged out from the last episode. Gatman, Twinkle Toes, Gianluca Zammi, aka the Poacher, and TJ's back again. aka the Sledgehammer. So again, red team, strong lineup as well. What are your thoughts, Steve-O?
Yeah, both teams, very strong lineup. Incredible players in both. I'm excited to see how Keon's going to keep up with the physicality of TJ, which is something which we mentioned very heavily in last week's episode too. So we'll see how the two teams shape up this time, see if it's a bit more balanced or if the styles are more balanced as well within the team. Hopefully it can click for both teams today.
So as I mentioned at the end of episode 4 on commentary, the player on the ball right now, StarBoy Keon Awuram, is 17 years old, debuted in the Premier League this last season with 11 games at 16 years old. Registered his first goal in the Premier League and his first assist. And I believe he's still with Valletta right now as they went down into the Challenge League, and he's going to be a key player to try and help get them back into the Premier League. Exciting player, definitely one to look out for. And TJ taking off exactly where he left off from the last game, and that is an early goal for TJ.
Yeah, not even a minute has passed and TJ's already trying to climb up those top goal scorer leaderboards.
Obviously with Gianluca playing in the game today, he is going to be wary that there are players now trying to catch him in the top goal scoring leaderboards. We've got the likes of Yuya, we've got the likes of Luca and the likes of TJ, so for sure Gianluca is going to have in the back of his head for every goal TJ scores, he's going to want to try and score one himself as well.
But since they're playing on the same team as well, and Gianluca is also second for the most assists, he's going to have that opportunity to turn provider for TJ, because we have two goal scoring machines on the red team today, both Gianluca and TJ playing together. So maybe TJ will get his first assist today as well. Who knows? Red
team really are a strong team on paper, and I'm expecting big things from them today. Blue team are definitely going to have to work very hard to try and keep up with the firepower that red team has. As you see Luca taking on two players there with some lovely footwork. Ball comes back out to TJ.
What an assist.
And that is TJ's first assist of the series as the ball ricochets along the way off Luca and into the goal. So an unplanned assist from TJ. Like you just said there, he gets a chance to get his first assist today. He's done it in the first 2 minutes. Goal was robbed off of him. An instant reply. 3 goals in 2 minutes. This game is already off to a cracking start. Manuel Bustos getting a quick reply goal there. Really, really well done. And it's 2-1, and we have a game on our hands, Steve-O.
Yeah, this has really exploded already. 2.5 minutes, 3 goals. Really, really shaping up to be one of the most exciting matches of the season.
I mean, when you put this much firepower on both teams, it's the only thing you can expect. I think the goalkeepers really are going to have a lot of work to do today as Gianluca drives down the side and Andrea makes a great save at the near post there to deny Gianluca. Gianluca on the ball, plays the ball across. TJ on the volley, and you'd put money on TJ usually to bury that from that distance on the volley. Keon on the ball here, looking to try and create. This is where we're going to start to see the creativity from that young man come out. Willie on the ball really is going to have a lot of work defending today as the sole defender on his team.
But he's also going to have a good opportunity to really lead the blue team as well, because Manu is also a very marauding player, who's also very communicative and very constructive in the way he plays. But I think Willie is going to be the linchpin of this blue team for sure.
As we see Manu driving through, takes on 2 players, passes it across goal. Great save from Reese there to stop the ball falling through to Yuya. He's going to lay it off to Keon. And again, a good save down at the near post there from Reese. Reese picking up some early saves. Little nutmeg there from Manu opens up the game. Donis gets a chance to drive away, but Keon shields the ball really well. Look at the footwork go. So let me tell you a little story about how Keon ended up in the Pro Series. So we were holding some trials for the Vibe season, which is going to be season number 4. You're going to hear more about that towards the end of this season. But we held some trials to find some young players on the island that could take part in that series. And Keon turned up to one of the trials to be considered for the series of season 4. And let's just say he put on an absolute clinic and destroyed the game so intensely that I immediately fast-tracked him, told him, look, you got to come and play in the Pro Series, you're ready, come and show off and show that you that age is just a number, and that if you're good enough, you're old enough, as the saying goes. So Keon fast-tracked himself, earned himself a ticket into the Pro Series by absolutely destroying it on the trial day, and we're seeing the rewards of it now as Keon is on the ball and puts a great shot into the box. There's another great cross, and Manu denied, and Gianluca tries to catch Andrea off guard there in goal with a quick reply. This game is absolutely end-to-end, so hard to keep up with.
Yeah, I've spoken before, Dan, about how some of the younger players or less physical players might keep up with some of the more experienced players, and again, as TJ is on the team, some of the more physical players. But Keon really holding his own over here. Definitely, he has a good team. He has a good setup of a team around him. He has Yuya, who we've seen in the other episodes, who can provide the same kind of style as him, and Willie and Manu are definitely going to help support him in this team. But I remember you telling me about him in the trials before, and how he was going to be playing in the Pro Series, and we're seeing already from this game, after not even half of the first half has gone through, that he is deserving of his position in the pro game.
He's holding his own, and that's what you like to see from young players. He's confident, he's strong, he's fast, he's making the right decisions, and he's not afraid to express himself. As we talk about expressing themselves, Donis and TJ doing a lovely link up there, and Andrea makes a great save to deny them. And again, another great save, and that is something we're getting very used to about Andrea. That's why he's called the Cat, because he has such good reflexes. Keon driving down the wing with a roulette, gives it to Willie. Willie plays it across, and that is a fucking quality goal right there from blue team. The heartthrob puts his hands up in the air. What a goal.
Manu showing his amazing composure in front of goal as well, to nutmeg Reese. We've seen Reese playing in other games. We know by now how hard it is to score against him, let alone to get a nutmeg goal against him.
Let's just focus on that roulette that Keon did in the corner there to open up the space in the first place. Gives it back to Willie, who made the right decision not to shoot and just to play the reverse pass across to Manu, who was coming out of his peripheral. Really good vision there from Willie. And just like that, almost another fucking great goal as Luca heads the ball wide from 2 yards. Probably should have got that on target and finished what would have been a great attack. But unfortunate to put it just wide.
Yeah, I would have definitely put Andrea to the test over there. Not sure if he would have... he is called the Cat, but I don't know if he would have jumped far enough to actually get himself to that ball. So, yeah, blue team lucky that was off target. But we're seeing very end-to-end stuff over here, Dan. It's a very fast-paced game. Very difficult from last episode's game, where it was mainly played out in the middle of the pitch, and this is just being played out in the box.
Keon denied there by a great save from Reese's pieces, or was that Luca on the line actually that made the block? As you see Reese there giving him his props for saving him there. Luca on the ball has been a dark horse of the series so far, definitely stealing a lot of the headlines with some great performances in the early games of the season. Let's hope that form continues as Manu picks up the ball and tries to bring the ball out of the back, plays the ball through the legs of TJ. Keon on the ball, plays it to Manu. Rare bad touch from Manu, but he recovers it very well, gives it to Yuya, and the baby-faced assassin puts the blue team into the lead with a lovely finish into the roof of the goal there.
Yeah, most of the work was done by Manu over there as well, pulling Reese out of the goal, because we've seen how deadly and clinical Manu is in front of goal. So obviously worrying Reese, Reese smothering him so he doesn't get the shot off. But Manu has shown that he's also a very well-rounded player, seeing Yuya out of the corner of his eye and playing a pass for Yuya to finish it incredibly well.
Red team are going to need to respond quickly here and not let the blue team start to take control of the game, as we're starting to see the blue team getting more and more confidence as the game goes on. TJ with a great tackle at the back there, now trying to drive out the back, but he has been dispossessed. Blue team back on the ball. Andrea from the back lifts it over TJ with great composure, and Willie using that Ferrari winger speed just to start the attack. Keon on the ball, tries to find the bottom corner. Reese makes a great save. It's played across the box, back to Keon on the corner there. Plays it, a little 1-2 with Willie. Blue team are cooking. They're cooking little attacks, little ones around the corner. Great little moves. Donis carries the ball out the back here. This is going to be, again, a key player for Red team today, is the experience of Donis in the small-sided environment, and he hits the crossbar from a very tight angle. I don't know how he managed to keep that on target.
No, that was a ridiculous shot from Donis, while he was sprinting as well. Sprinting, tight angle. Off target, but incredible effort.
Reese makes a great save there. Ball to Gianluca, who is yet to get himself off the mark, right?
I think so, yeah. In this game, he hasn't scored yet, but I'm sure he is going to be able to get more. There are definitely going to be more goals in this game, so I'd be very surprised if he comes out of it with none.
We know Poacher is definitely one of those players that no matter how quiet he might be there, he's 3 seconds away from scoring a goal, and the second he gets an opportunity, he's going to take it. So definitely one to keep your eyes on throughout the game. Might prove to be the difference maker in the game with that expert finishing in front of goal.
Yeah, Red team definitely needs a bit of creativity from somewhere, and Gianluca has shown that he can both score goals and assist. So if anyone's going to create that creative spark, I think he's going to be the creator on this team. But again, Dan, we're seeing a contrast in styles from the Red team and the Blue team. Blue team we've seen passing around a lot, playing a lot of 1-2s, trying to build up the play from the back and throughout the whole pitch. And Red team playing a more direct approach, which seems to be working well in both of the teams' favours till now, as we're seeing a very balanced game. 3-2, we've seen how the game could just turn on its head in an instant. And if not for saves like that, I think from both of the keepers, I think the scoreline would be much higher right now.
Yeah, definitely something I was about to touch on was the importance of the goalkeepers so far this game. They are proving a real stumbling block for a lot of the offensive players, as they're just putting on save after save in really key areas where you'd expect the striker to score 9 times out of 10, and they prove to be the one that stops them. And it's making it a very, very close game. Donis on the ball, drives out of the back, gives it to Gianluca, who's going to try and beat his man. He does. And that's what we're talking about when it comes to Gianluca. You give him half a yard, he will punish you. Finds the legs of Andrea, puts it through there. That's a nutmeg and a goal. That's a 3-point goal with the added point from the nutmeg. And Gianluca is on the score sheet.
And we've seen both keepers nutmeg till now, Dan. How unprecedented is this? I think it's the first episode where both keepers have been megged by two of the top players in the season.
I think it's one of those things that we've mentioned in previous episodes. Obviously, the higher level the goalkeepers get, the better they are at saving and predicting where the shots are going. So it almost becomes better for the striker to shoot at the legs of the goalkeeper, expecting them to move. And I think that's what you're finding here, is the goalkeepers just getting caught out by moving their legs, trying to save the ball and guess where it is. Obviously in five-a-side, the shots are taken from such a close range. At times, goalkeepers are really just predicting or guessing where the ball's going to go.
Yeah, and also taking nothing away from Gianluca's perception to actually do that as well, and his movement on the ball to get himself just a yard of space to be able to take that shot off.
Red team moving the ball around much nicer at the moment here. We talked about the build-up that the blue team are doing. It's red team's turn now to try and take the ball and work a bit more of a cultured attack as they are there. And Donis with just the wrong pass there. Usually so reliable in that position, and couldn't find Gianluca with that final pass. Otherwise that could have been another goal and put red team back in the lead. We've got 4 minutes left of the half right now. Which team do you think is going to get in front?
I'm not sure. Blue team seems to have sat back a little bit now. They got comfortable in the beginning of the first half. They realized that they could probably pass the ball around the red team. But now that the red team have got more into the game and have completely warmed up, it's a lot more balanced, and you can see from the scoreline how balanced it is. But I think if Gianluca and TJ start firing on all cylinders, as we've seen them do in previous episodes, I think the red team would just take it over the line.
Yeah, definitely could go either way for sure. Don't take it away from either team. Blue team on the counter-attack here. Yuya accelerates, and TJ with a dominating tackle there to pick up the ball, but he has been sloppy there and lost it, but Donis is going to recover the ball, and red team are going to keep possession. Gianluca in the space that you want him, trying to beat players 1v1. Manu ever so cool there with a little roulette to get an escape danger. Beats TJ as well. He's back through the middle now, finds space, plays it out to Willie. Willie plays it across, Donis intercepts, and now this is where red team can be clinical. And Andrea has absolutely read Gianluca like a book there and taken it off him. And again, Reese from the other end makes a good save as well to go and intercept the pass. This is end-to-end stuff. I cannot tell you who is going to score next. I have no idea. Willie with a nice little nutmeg in the corner there, but red team are going to regain possession and start to come out. It is 2v2 forward. Gianluca on the ball, and a great save from Andrea down low. Luca picks up the ball, stops Keon escaping, and now he's going to reset the attack back to the beginning there, where Donis is in his trademark position on that left wing, looking to create. Tries to play the little 1-2. Luca back on the ball here, trying to shift onto his favoured right foot, but he's been dispossessed, and now Keon is on the ball. Keon turns, takes on TJ, but TJ comes out on top in that 1v1 duel there and puts it out for a throw-in. We're into the final minute here, Steve-O. What is going to happen? Oh my God, a very unexpected goal there from Yuya. You can see by the look on his face that even he is surprised that one's gone through. A little deflection off Donis as he takes the shot, and it goes through the legs of Reese again. That's another nutmeg as Yuya finds the back of the net. The assassin striking at the least expected opportunity there, and 4-3 now just before the break. That goal could be vital.
Yeah, it was definitely a goal which came from nothing really. But that we're showing again how quick the games can just turn on their head, and now blue team are in the lead again, and red are scrambling to see what they can potentially change or how they can potentially improve to get themselves back on level terms.
Right, next time the ball goes out, the half will end as TJ takes the ball, takes a big shot, and it goes out for half time. 4-3 at the break. It's been a firecracker of a game, a sprint, not a marathon. The game got off to an explosive start. You're starting to see it balance out now in the final stages of the second half, but blue team rock the red team right at the depth there with the final 30 seconds by scoring that winning goal that takes them into the half in cruise control.
I mean, cruise control and not at the same time, because it's a very, very close game. We've seen goals are just coming from nothing, and if not for the keepers and their great saves, then it would be a much bigger scoreline. It's been a very exciting match, and now very, very end-to-end. The scoreline, I think, is not showing just how exciting this game is. And just as we say that, another goal is scored by the blue team.
15 seconds in, the second half has started exactly how the first half did. You saw Keon try to weave his way through the entire team at the beginning to win the corner in the first place. Yuya gets his hat-trick. Great finish. Little one round the corner, just finds the gap, places it perfectly into the bottom corner. Nothing Reese could do about that one. And that is ridiculous
one, but another
right
one
now.
is
Look
empty
at that
too. I don't
team
understand why.
Straight
Today
up in
I
the
charged
lead
it.
here, 5-3 now. That's a 2-goal deficit. Definitely going to be difficult for red team to try and get back into it, as we've seen the goalkeepers are playing so well. Keon on the ball, tries to lift it over the top of Reese. Hasn't come off there, but would have definitely been a contender for goal of the game had it have come off. Luca driving out the back, definitely a good player at moving the ball forward. Tries to take the shot, but just leans back and puts it over. It's going to go out for a corner. Our red team going to be able to create anything from the corner. Gianluca looks like he's in a bit of space there on the edge if they can find him. Ball comes out to Gianluca. Plays it to Donis. Ball back out to Gianluca, who hits an absolute missile. How on earth did that not go in?
The goalpost definitely helping Andrea over there, who had absolutely no idea about the shot. And Gianluca looks like he's in disbelief that hasn't gone in, because that was a ridiculous effort.
Physically, it didn't even look possible that didn't go in. How does the ball hit both posts and come back out of the goal?
And these, by the way, are square posts, not even round posts. So for that to happen is almost physically impossible. But Gianluca has defied the odds once again and has managed to do the impossible.
And
just as Manu has.
Yeah, Manu hits the post as well, showing red team there that if they sleep, they are going to get punished. And Gianluca's on the ball again and just can't find the corner. That's the position you'd expect him every time to hit the back of the net. He's been so dangerous in these sort of positions in previous episodes, just wide of the mark. Keon here showing lovely footwork and almost finds the top corner. Lovely little step over there to create the space, beats the player on the outside and almost puts the ball into the top corner. Oh, Gianluca in a very dangerous position. This is exactly where he likes to be. Plays it across and just like that, red team punish. They're back in the game.
Gianluca earning his poacher nickname once again, just continuing his run, which is elite mentality from him over there after he beats Willie with the pass, continuing his run onto the second post and getting his second goal of the game.
Gore United have just announced the new signing of Gianluca Zamit. He is going to be playing in the South this season for the Challenge League team, and I think he's going to be an amazing addition to their lineup. They've got a very young team in general, and Gianluca's only going to add to that. The coach, Kevin, is a very good coach, and I think he's going to help Gianluca develop even more this season into a deadly striker.
Yeah, no, the coach can definitely help him flourish and help him work on those aspects which he's already so good at, and potentially even unlock more of the creator and provider role that we've seen Gianluca take up in some of these games as well.
Gora proves so vital to the development of someone like Donis, where obviously when Donis came to Malta, he was a luxury Rolls-Royce player that when he was on the ball, he was the most dangerous player on the field, but off the ball, he offered absolutely nothing. And we ended up moulding him into the player he is today, that is just an absolute workhorse off the ball as well. So maybe they can do the same magic for Gianluca. But talking about magic, Keon, take a fucking bow. What a volley. Look at the technique. 17 years old and he produces magic like that. That right there could be a very strong contender for goal of the game, maybe even goal of the season, after the pass from Yuya, perfectly weighted over the top of the player. And what technique to just smash that home into the top corner. Reese left planted to the spot. No chance he was going to get anywhere near that.
No chance at all. And we've seen Yuya how good he is with his weighted passes and with his weighted touches, after seeing that chip which he got off of Mish. So definitely providing a great pass over there for Keon to get his volleyed goal. But amazing technique from Keon at just 17 years old. I don't know many players who are actually capable of doing that just off the bat, just from nothing, and getting such a good goal just in that way.
Oh, TJ, really unfortunate there not to put that in the back of the net. Probably should have done a bit better and made it a one-goal lead again. Blue team on the ball. Keon tries to play the ball over the top there, but just gets caught out. Willie on the ball, plays the ball wide to Yuya. Yuya's been such a bright spark this game, really creating for the team. Plays the ball out to Keon. Keon standing up Donis here. Gets sent back the other way and is going to play the ball back out to Manu. Gianluca showing that amazing defensive work rate there in the corner of the screen. As red team get the ball, Gianluca becomes alive again. Donis on the ball, plays it back to Reese. Reese is going to start the attack by playing it through the lines. Luca does very well to pick up the ball with pressure around him and controls the ball ever so well. Looking around there, looking a little bit lost now, red team, to be honest. As the game's getting on, they are not making as many runs for each other, and it's starting to prove a problem for them. They're not finding the way to beat through the lines. Blue team staying very compact and being hard to break down, countering very well. Red team are going to have to get their act together very soon, or it's going to start to get away from them.
Yeah, red team are looking a bit flat, to be honest, but which is surprising because they have so many players on their team who are willing to put in the work and the effort and who can create and score at the same time.
Keon on the ball here, just standing up Donis. He's been given way too much time and space, and that's what happens if you give a good player time and space. Red team, I don't know what they're doing. No pressure, sitting off. Keon's allowed time to line up, and let's not take away from the finish there. That's a good distance to find the bottom corner. Really, really good finish there from Keon, the 17-year-old.
No, incredible finish.
StarBoy. And this is a star performance from Keon so far.
He's definitely showing why he's earned the nickname of StarBoy. To score against Reese in that way from that distance has to be a perfectly placed ball. But I don't know, red team just aren't closing down anything. And in that passage of play, it was throughout the whole pitch, because we saw in the opposing side, Gianluca just not closing down his man, and that mentality just seemed to permeate its way down to the defending side as well.
You can see there Keon with a smile on his face. He's enjoying the fact that red team are starting to get on each other's back there. What a save. How has that not ended up in the back of the net there? Andrea there, really thankful to see the ball come back out towards him so he can jump on it. The ball could have absolutely gone anywhere after it hit the post. Willie's going to carry the ball back to Manu, who plays the ball through the line to Keon, who's proving to be the creative player now. He is the playmaker, given time and space again, but takes that one just wide.
Yeah, once you do have a 3-goal lead, it's very easy for players like Keon, who are very creative and are obviously always brimming to try anything new and always looking to take on players. Once you have that lead, it gives you a bit more space to just experiment and be creative. Because even if you do make a mistake, then the worst that can happen is just you have a smaller lead, but you're still in the lead.
Keon looking to get on the ball again, deep, plays very well there, just beats TJ with ease, which is not an easy thing to do. Oh my God. What are we seeing here? Look at the confidence of this young man. Drops a little JJ Okocha reverse step over, beats TJ as if he's not even there. And TJ, we know, is one of the strongest tacklers in the series. Approaches Reese 1v1 and has the composure just to slot it through his legs.
Every goal that Keon has scored till now has been, I think, a goal of the match contender. So it's going to be exciting to see at the end of the episode who's actually going to win it.
Crazy performance from Keon right now. That is his hat-trick of the game now. All 3 goals scored in the second half. Definitely the second half has been his strongest showing. As you can see, he is just enjoying himself.
Red team, again, we can see how they're just not closing the blue team down, and they're playing with their heads down. Very flat. I think it's going to take quite a lot of work for them to get back into this game if they're still thinking about taking it to the blue team and trying to get in the lead.
Keon is definitely one of those players that I expect to see back in the Premier League very, very soon, if not this season. I'd be very surprised if one of the Premier League teams doesn't take an opportunity. And you see Yuya only denied there by a sliding tackle from TJ, which means it is a penalty to the blue team because the slide tackles are not allowed. And Willie gets his first goal of the game and potentially his first goal of the series. Lovely finish there from Willie from the spot. And Ferrari winger is off the mark as he shows great defending again there. Very aggressive in the tackle.
Although it was a sliding tackle and he did give away a penalty for his team, TJ with an incredible save, to be honest, on the line, which he probably feels very hard done by. That was awarded as a penalty, but I mean that no sliding rule really coming back to haunt TJ, as we saw him getting quite frustrated with it in the previous episode too.
I think it's definitely a rule that we needed to implement given the way that Season 2 panned out, and we saw a few injuries in Season 2 that we wanted to avoid. So we're just minimising the risk here of injuries as Andrea comfortably takes the ball there like you'd expect someone like Neymar to do. Ball played out to Keon, back to... Oh my God. Running riot now, 10-4. The game is getting out of hand for Red Team. They've stopped trying. You can see they've really switched off here. And Keon is making them punish his 4th goal of the game, 4th goal of the half. And who's going to stop this kid this episode?
I don't think anyone can. He's just been marauding through anyone. He's shown that he can dribble anyone. He's dribbled Donis, he's dribbled TJ, which are 2 completely different types of players. So Keon definitely showing his versatility there and his reading of the player and the game to get 4 completely different style goals as well, but beating a player who is very physical in TJ and very technical in Donis, who is usually very good at reading a player and reading the game. Keon is definitely the bright spark of this game.
Red team need to get on possession of the ball, and they need to make sure the next goal is theirs, because the next goal is really going to be about pride for them as Gianluca hits the crossbar from the free kick there. Yuya in space, but Keon decides to go out wide to Willie. Ball back with Keon now in the middle. Tries to skip TJ, but TJ just takes it off him, and TJ's now back in possession. You can see red team very flat here, very lethargic, not much movement. Donis the only one really trying to stay involved in the game, and the rest of the players all starting to argue now and get on each other's back. The movement isn't there. Gianluca trying to help out at the back, but he's giving it away. Manu tries to feed the ball through the middle but can't, but it is a quickly taken corner, and the ball keeps being played around. Still on the ball, and it now goes out wide.
It does seem that some small efforts are being made for the red team to try and get back into this game, but even if they do, I think now it's just a bit too late. I mean, 6-goal deficit.
3 minutes on the clock.
And 2 minutes on the clock.
Looking near impossible now for red team. Obviously, never say never in the fives, but yeah, it's not looking good. Gianluca on the ball here at the back, just picks up the ball, tries to play a long pass through to Luca there, but it doesn't work. Red team just all over the place a little bit. I think they're giving way too much respect to the blue team at the moment. Gianluca putting in a rare defensive display there and actually playing last man right now. I think he's gotten fed up with the fact that this team isn't creating up front, so he's tried to help out at the back. And Andrea still on it like he was in the first minute here, not letting up and making a big save there to stop red team getting any slither of hope. Donis on the ball, tries to take on Keon, but he's been dispossessed. Keon up against Reese. That is not a good one for Reese to look back at. Keon has absolutely walked around him as if he's not there and tapped the ball into an empty goal. 5th goal of the game, equalled Gianluca's record from the first game. The only difference being in this game is they're not playing against Season 2 All-Stars, they're playing against professional players, and that is Keon making the game look very, very easy right now.
Oh, it's definitely a very incredible display from him. I can also speak about how frustrating it is to have to play against such a technical player and such a skilled player as a goalkeeper, as I'm sure Reese is probably feeling frustrated now at having just been turned inside out by someone like Keon, but also having players, unfortunately, like TJ, who might have had the opportunity to close him down earlier when he did end up one-on-one with Reese. But yeah, Reese definitely being let down by the rest of his team, just not making the efforts right now.
The walking on the pitch definitely isn't helping red team for sure. Energy levels, their body language, everything is showing that they're ready to leave the pitch.
Yeah, they just want the game to end.
They're just waiting for that 30 seconds to tick down now. And I think it's going to be a very one-sided victory for blue team, who even themselves are starting just to keep possession of the ball now and keep the ball moving. Nothing silly, which is what we like to see. We don't like to see teams giving away goals stupidly in the final minutes, but blue team now just weaving their way through. Keon on the ball, almost finds the far corner, and it's not quite there yet. Reese on the ball. We're getting close to the mark where the game will come to an end. There is going to be a few seconds of added time. We're now at the point if the ball goes out, it will be the end of the game. Could go out there, but Manu is going to make the suffering carry on for a little bit longer as he slides to keep the ball in and tries an effort from the halfway line. 11-4. Is that the biggest scoreline we've had so far?
I think it is the biggest scoreline we've had till now, yeah.
Or the score deficit at least. 7-goal deficit there. Red team just didn't show up in the second half. And strangely, because in the first half it looked like they were going to take control in the first few minutes, where they were a few goals ahead. I think they went the first goal ahead, maybe even the second. And they looked like they were on track to put in a good performance. The firepower they have on their team available, you wouldn't think they wouldn't score only 4 goals.
No, definitely my prediction after the first half has gone completely awry. I did predict that red team were just going to nudge past the blue team, since they were on level terms at that point. And as you said, with the power and on paper, red team just having so many resources at their disposal, but just not being able to take advantage of it. Somehow, again, red team, something just hasn't clicked. But blue team, an incredible performance from them and capitalizing on every single mistake that red team made. Speaking
of a stellar performance, let's highlight man of the match, Keon. I think it could only go to Keon, right?
I don't think anyone could have any arguments with man of the match going to Keon. He was definitely the star boy on the pitch, both in name and in performance. Was leading the line for the blue team, even though there were so many more experienced players on the pitch with him. but definitely helped him.
I mean, we look at his stats here, 29.5 overall points. That's the highest scoring performance so far of the season. Not only does he score goals with 5 goals that you're seeing on the screen now, but 3 assists at the same time, 13 defensive plays. This kid is one for the future. Do not shy away from Keon, and he's managed to do the double. A very rare feat in the Fives, winning goal of the game and man of the match. But again, I think it's unarguable in this sense. The goal that was selected was the volley. I think the pass here, if you look at the precision of the pass from Yuya, just to dink it over both players in front of him, perfectly weighted into the space for Keon, who lets go an absolute thunderbolt that, despite hitting Reese in the centre of the goal there, just absolutely rockets past him into the top corner. I don't think there's any arguments with a double-double there from Keon. Absolutely ridiculous.
No, very predictable man of the match performance and goal of the game performance, and 8 goal contributions in a team which has scored 11 goals. I mean, who else could he go to? And realistically, his goals were the best ones, which we saw as well during the game.
I think definitely he's announced himself to the Fives and is going to be one to look forward to watching for the rest of the season. Let's have a look at some of the stats. Obviously, we've had a little bit of movement on the leaderboards. One thing to remember is the red team today, they had 3 out of 5 of the top goal scorers on their team and the top assist player on their team. On paper, it shouldn't have been a question, really, should it? Red team should have put at least 10 in the scoreboard, judging by the numbers so far. But blue team just put in a good team performance, and red team just couldn't gel. They couldn't get it together. We're looking at the assist chart. So far, we've got Gianluca on 6 now, Yuya's on 4, Luca on 3, Joe Willie on 3, but Don is still high and mighty on top with 12 now. That's another 2 assists onto his tally, I believe.
Yeah, that's assisting 50% of the goals which his team scored. But yeah, as you said, on paper, red team definitely should have nudged it over the line against the blue team, which is why I predicted that they would be winning the game. But something just didn't click, something just didn't work, or it was just blue team's dominance during the game. There was just something in this game, and blue team showed how strong they were.
Gianluca now on top of the goal charts as usual, 12 goals, 2 more added to his tally. Probably could have had more today. I think he was unfortunate on a few occasions, and Andrea also just pulling off some wonderful saves in net to deny him from extending his league on top. But Yuya's travelling behind. He's climbed higher now with 6 goals. Luca on 5. Keon, 5 goals in one game, has now put himself up onto the leaderboard and pushed Andre out. And TJ adding 1 more to his tally that keeps him tied for 3rd place there. We look at the defenders. We've got Luca on top. He's now regained the lead over Charles. Obviously, Charles was absent this game. I think we're going to see a little bit of seesawing now as players play and others don't. You're going to see players just start to pick themselves into the lead and exchange during the games that they're not there. Charles on 48, Yuya on 41. Yuya on all 3 leaderboards so far. That is a pretty impressive feat in itself. Only Gianluca doing the same. Surprisingly, Gianluca, I think the sheer amount of games that Gianluca's played has managed to keep him hanging on at the bottom of the defensive leaderboard as well, with 35, Donis on 39, and Luca on top with 51. We look at the goalkeepers. I'll let you talk through the goalkeepers this week.
I mean, I think what has to be said though now, Reese and Andrea both equal on points. We're very close in the previous episode too, but very, very high saving game. This game was very end-to-end, as we said. We saw some incredible saves from both of the keepers. Reese, I think, just edging it just on his capability, taking nothing away from Andrea. Pops falling back, unfortunately, again absent from this game. So he's going to struggle a little bit to climb back up those leaderboards, especially after these types of performances from Andrea and Reese. Nothing can be said about myself. Obviously, I was absent anyway, trailing over there by quite a large margin. But
obviously, when it comes to saves per game, that's going to be the more accurate stat for goalkeepers like yourself, because you've only played the 1 appearance, unlike the other goalkeepers that I believe are on three appearances each now. So for sure they're going to have the advantage over you just by sheer number of appearances.
Definitely.
Much like you're seeing in some of the other leaderboards, players are still hanging on to their spots in fifth position just because they've played more games than the others. And as we get closer to the end of the season and the games even out, you'll see a bit more movement and a bit closer races between the players that you'd expect to be on top of the leaderboard.
But it's definitely going to be exciting to see who's going to edge it to take first place in the most saves, because every time one of these keepers is missing from one of the games, the first position is just seesawing, as we've seen in other leaderboards too.
The next game is obviously going to see Reese and Pops take the stage in goal. So Andrea is going to fall behind possibly as Pops gets a chance to put himself back in front. And Reese is going to have a chance to really extend his lead on top there. If he can have another good game, then he's going to create a bit of breathing space between the rest of the goalkeepers in the series. Looking at MVP, we've got Gianluca on top, 64.5 points again. Decent performance today. Probably could have scored a few more points and created a bit more of a gap. You're seeing Yuya now capitalising on 3 great performances and keeping himself up into the second place there. He's overtaken Luca and is chasing Gianluca very closely now. Only 11 points in it. That's very easy to do. That's just one game. Luca and Donis and Reese all clinging on to the bottom there. 3 points in it between those three. And Reese has managed to climb back into the MVP overall leaderboard, which is good to see for a goalkeeper to be in there. It's always nice to see goalkeepers getting the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, we're seeing the emergence of Reese again onto the MVP. But Yuya climbing up on all of the leaderboards, so definitely a very strong contender for the overall MVP. If he just keeps this momentum going, I definitely think that he's going to be giving Gianluca a run for his money in not only the MVP leaderboard, but also in the most goals leaderboard.
Yeah, definitely some players to look out for. You'll be happy to know in the next episode we are going to see the return of the Serbs. We've got Ivan Bojovic and Luka Mijic returning back to the field. Bullseye is going to be back on the field as well. Obviously, Andre Kataja is one of the players that's hotly tipped to finish in first place of the goal-scoring leaderboard. So this is going to be his second game and a good chance for him to establish himself and get back onto the goal-scoring leaderboard. He's currently on 4 goals, so only needing 1 goal right now to get onto the charts. And I think we're almost guaranteed more than 1 goal from Andre when he's on the pitch.
Yeah, after getting 4 goals in his first match, he has been pushed out from the most goals leaderboard, unfortunately, so he's definitely going to be trying to get himself back onto that leaderboard, maybe even potentially getting another 4 goals in 1 game.
We've also got on Blue Team next week, Franklin Cesare is coming back again as well. After his good dominant display in episode 4, last episode, so you're going to see more of Franklin. And then on the red team, we've got a few debuts. We've got the return of StarBoy. So if you enjoyed seeing StarBoy in this episode, you're going to get to see even more of him next episode. And believe me, he doesn't slow down from the first episode. Pops is back. We've got Manuel Bustos back again as well. And then 2 debuts. We've got the Brazilians joining the Fives. We've got Lucas Senna, who is an awesome player, previously played with Santos in Brazil and has been playing with Santa Lucia in the previous season. And then also the top goal scorer of the FMA Futsal Malta Association League 23-24. We've got Fonseca, who has rightly been named the genius because the things he does on the field is insane. I'll let someone who's a bit more familiar with Fonseca's work give you a little bit of a lowdown of what to expect from Fonseca. Steve, tell us what players can expect to see from the futsal genius.
Now, Fonseca has always been whenever we've played against Fonseca in any team, he's always been the player that has been mentioned in pre-game talks as the player who can just create and score and defend. He just has so much experience and he reads the game so well, but at the same time such a technical player, and if his team isn't giving him what he needs around him, he's that type of player who can just pick up the ball and decide that he's going to do it all for himself. So definitely one to look out for in the next episode. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to interact with Keon after seeing such a strong and dominant display from him in this game. It's going to be very exciting to see them in the game together.
So one thing I'm really interested to see, obviously we've seen the futsal goalkeepers make the transition very well into the fives. We haven't seen an outfield player yet, have we?
I don't think so, no. I think
So,
Fonseca is going to be the first, yeah.
Fonseca will be the first futsal player to make their debut in the fives. And obviously when you're such a high-level futsal player and you're so used to playing the small-sided format, there are some key differences when it comes to futsal and football. So we will see, are they able to make that transition, and will they maintain the same level of output that they give in the futsal court as they can in the football field? So that's going to be a really interesting thing to see. I'm excited. I'm sure Steve's excited as well. Guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a like on the episode. Comment down below if you agree with the decisions for Keon winning man of the match and goal of the game. If not, let us know who you think deserved the rub this episode, and let us know if there's anyone that you're looking forward to seeing from next episode. Subscribe for the Unprofessional Footballer channel to get more football related content here in Malta. We're looking at five-a-sides, podcast, coaching sessions. There's loads of stuff getting uploaded to the channel every week, so make sure you come back next week to see the next episode of the Fives. And guys, we will see you next week.